what has been one of the biggest learning experiences for you following writing your books?
Okay, so the biggest learning experience is following writing my books. Um, so I think so a few of them were mental health related because whenever I was writing Diary of a Young Naturalist, my first book, I was putting a lot of stuff down on the page that I didn't really understand. It was a diary. I was just chucking everything down on the page and working out how, and my world is so entangled with the natural world that they sort of mush together. And then I was reading back and seeing how much the natural world helped my mental health, and also saw that it was that uprooting, the changing of place that really just uh, kicked me down and utterly annihilated me, um, with absolutely no sense of belonging, which came from the natural world. Um, I think one of the biggest learning experiences from me was, and from my books, was that we can learn to live in different places. That we we build our roots, like mycelium networks. We can sort of just fruit up in different places, but we're still all in the same world. Helped me a lot. And I think one of my other biggest lessons, that was would have surprised me when I was writing the book, or at least the early sections of it, was that perhaps straight up anger is not possibly the best thing for my mental health either, or anybody's. There's a massive amount of anxiety that's welling up around these issues, probably mostly because nobody else is taking action on them, and then people who can't even vote yet are somehow seen as the saviors, which is, and then forcing all of this pressure down onto about 10% of the population, which feel 10-20% of the population, which is, whenever you think about it, utterly mind-blowing that 20% of the population have to deal with the issues that they didn't create and don't have the power to actually change. um, and I I think towards the end of the book, I realized that there's so much, there was change that we could be making, but we need to force the people in charge to actually make those changes. And perhaps we can do that in all sorts of different ways, through, like I said, the creation of art and writing and music and things that, or that deal with these problems that are facing us, culturally, and then also trying to, while not, because I feel like there is this massive barrier to activism. It's like, oh, I can't do that. Um, and I think,
Yeah.
yeah, like, because some people aren't comfortable with protesting on the streets, and some people really aren't comfortable with field for 8 hours. And that's perfectly fine.